What's up, everyone? Good morning. We are looking at day 3 of our trip, and we woke up and I wanted to go to Canyonlands really early. So, luckily, we left a lot earlier than the day before after we ate a hearty breakfast. So, this was one of the views from our trip on the way to our destination, and it was just a rest stop before you get to the national park. Luckily, we had purchased the national park pass the previous day, and so that card just got us in really quickly. We were going in through the side closest to Moab, which was just about 40 or 45 minutes outside of Moab, and that was the views at Island in the Sky. So you can get to the visitor center because this particular national park is broken into 4 sections, mainly because of the Colorado River and other divides. So it kind of broke it up into a natural 4 division parkway where you can pick and choose which areas you wanted to visit. And now that we're in the park, let's take a look at some of the things that we saw. So these were the spectacular views or of the island in the sky. That's what they call it. And yeah, it was gorgeous. Even the baby had a lot to say about it. He was definitely talking a lot. And the air was really crisp and everything just felt so nice. It was cold this day. It was like maybe 50s or 60s, but because of the wind, it felt in like it was in the 40s or even colder. The wind was really, really chilly. And the thing about Utah is it's really dry. So it's like a really dry, cold, there's no humidity, but there was a lot of wind. And yeah, it didn't take away from the views that we were able to just observe. And then we did this, it was a 1 mile hike around the canyon rim, but we did not do the entire thing. We did maybe half of it. And then we met up with his parents again because they were driving with us. And at that point, my husband decided to take the Subaru on some off-roading trails. So when we got there, it gave us like a warning for what type of vehicle you needed in order to complete this trail. There were definitely some parts where you needed to be all hands on deck because it was very, very scary as you were turning on those rock or dirt roads on the side of the cliff. So as you can see, everything was just a dirt road, and then you look down on the side and it just plummets into the earth. So we were literally driving on a random road off of the canyon area that they had just, created, and it was scary, but I wanted to still sit on the other side in order to see, just those views of looking down and having that firsthand experience or that oneness with nature, that awness that you feel when you're surrounded by immense, gorgeous, beautiful nature. And that's definitely what you felt, or what I felt at Canyonlands, because of how vast and just deep those canyons are. And then there was that experience of even walking or driving on the edge of those canyons made you feel very humbled, because you realize, the world is, and nature itself is a lot stronger and bigger than we are. And, if one doesn't feel insignificant already, then that'll definitely do it. And we weren't even the only ones out there. There were several other vehicles doing the same thing. In total, it said it was going to be a 4-hour trip, but because my husband was able to drive through it faster, it only took about 2.5 hours. So we did have extra time when we got out to do what we wanted to do, and I'll explain that later in the video. But meanwhile, I want to say it was about a 45-minute drive through the canyons, right on alongside the canyons. And this is when I moved to the other side to get a better view of the drop-off. You can just see that unwinding road on the other side where there's just so many cars that you'll see them passing in a second. It's a Jeep and you kind of have to like scoot over to the side to let them, if you're going to pass them. But the Jeep that we passed, he had stopped on the side to, I guess, get some pictures or videos. And yeah, we were able to very carefully pass them up. But I don't recommend doing this trip on with any other type of vehicle other than an off-roading four-wheel drive. Or if, I mean, it wasn't like extreme off-roading. There were no large boulders or rocks that we had to climb. It was pretty much like 80% flat surface, and then there were areas that had bigger drop-offs and very big boulders and rocks. Aside from those areas, I think, any other car would have been fine. Just stay on the main path and don't go off, and you'll be fine. There were parts where you could pull aside and just stop to take pictures and soak in the scenery. You had to be careful in other parts because there wasn't enough space. So if you stopped, you or the other vehicle would need to push aside so that both of you could, pass. But it was areas like this where we stopped, where there was enough space on the road to where you could easily have two cars pass and still be able to do what you want to do. Okay, and there were a few other vehicles on the trail, as you can see below. And we passed both of them because they were going slower and they stopped more than we did. And that's because we were worried that the trail was going to be over 4 hours, but it didn't end up being that long at all, maybe 2.5, 3 hours at most. And yeah, so we just kept driving down until we got to the very bottom of the canyons. And here you could see we're getting closer to the bottom. And yeah, it didn't take, a long time to get to the bottom, but you did have to drive very carefully. And then there were some parts, where you could see the Colorado River and it looked really, really beautiful. We were the only ones on that part of the trail, so we got to enjoy it and just take everything in. And we took some really pretty pictures there. And yeah. So after the trail, we drove on the main highway, and you can see petroglyphs on the side of the road. I'm going to zoom in here so you guys can see. And these are ancient petroglyphs. Yeah, they're just like really cool rock paintings or drawings from the Native Americans of the time. And they were all along the side of the rocks. They went up really, really high too. Some of them looked like alien drawings. They were drawing aliens. But yeah, and they had to have climbed up there to get to those spots because even looking up was really, really high. And yeah, they were just all along the side of the highway. People would there's an area where you can park your vehicle and walk so you can see everything. And we just kind of walked alongside and took in all of those pictures. That was really cool. Since we did have time, we went back to Arches National Park. It was only 17 minutes from where we were spending the night, and so we did the Devil's Playground tour, the hike, and then we left to get dinner at Sunset Grill. And this was an old house the owner had turned into a dinner, and these were the beautiful views. I told James it wasn't worth it if we didn't get there around sunset, so luckily we did. The food was really, really good. They made homemade bread, and my in-laws ordered some appetizers. The artichoke with cheese bread was delicious, and of course baby enjoyed it. He was playing peekaboo the entire time with his grandparents. And my husband, I forget what he ordered, but I know I ordered the spaghetti with grilled vegetables, and it was really filling and really delicious. And then afterwards I ordered some cake, and then we went to the crystal shop, and that was right before we headed home. So we did get some beautiful crystals to take with us. I got some crystal jewelry, and my husband found an obsidian arrowhead that was handmade, and he got that. And that was pretty much our our day 3 of the trip. I hope you guys enjoyed watching our little video. Stay tuned for what we did the next day.